Hey, this is Mark Rodriguez, and you're watching the Video Game Masters, and today we're going to continue on with the Lost reviews, or the Lost episodes that are originally only on OBRY, or Odyssey, and today we're checking out TMNT Smash Up for the PlayStation 2, and also the X-Men arcade game by Konami. Now, TMNT Smash Up was the 4th episode of Video Game Masters, so yeah, it was very early on in our, I guess, YouTube career, if you can call it that. So back then we still had the real small little battery operated camera with the AA batteries. It could only record like 10 minutes at a time, I think. And after like half an hour or so, it would like die out to get new batteries and whatever. And of course it had the infamous purple bar. So right now we have better equipment to record like older consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and the PlayStation 2 and stuff like that. And while the footage may not be like super HD quality as opposed to the PS4 games, it still looks a lot better than the small little battery operated camera with the purple bar recording the TV directly and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, let's check out TMNT Smash Up and see what our thoughts, if any of our thoughts or opinions have changed so many years later looking back at the game. Let's check it out. Released in 2009 by Ubisoft, TMNT Smash Up came out for the PlayStation 2 and the Wii just in time to celebrate the Turtles' 25th anniversary. You can play with up to 4 players, although you need a special adapter to do this on the PS2. The roster gives you 12 characters for the PS2 version and 16 characters for the Wii version. It's a pretty bare bones roster, the characters you would expect. Of course, the 4 turtles are here, the Shredder, Splinter, April O'Neil, Karai. No one really too surprising except for possibly the Ultraminator, which is a weird Ultron using this killer fighting robot. But most of the characters are based in the 2007 movie, with some of the characters that were not in the movie being based in the 2003 cartoon, but we'll kind of get back to that. As you can tell from the title, the gameplay is similar to the Smash Brothers series, which is basically a wild free-for-all to see who's the winner. TMNT Smash Up lets you play in teams of 2-on-2, 3-on-1, or everyone for themselves. You can also play tag team mode that lets you tag in and out between characters, either controlled by the computer or your buddy. Once you kill someone 3 times in a match, they are gone for good, and the last one standing wins the fight. Other than basic attacks, stronger attacks, holds, throws, blocks, and things like that, you can also find some cool extra items. Some of them include throwing these cool ninja stars, these energy force fields that knock everybody back, these bombs that might actually bounce back at you if you're not careful, and these items that let you breathe fire. Luckily, you can also find some pizza to refill your health during the match. You fight it out in 10 stages in the PS2 version, each full with its own different nuances and traps. Some stages, like this Villainous Lair stage, has breakable floors to reveal another stage underneath. One of the more notable traps is this killer alligator that just dives out and devours you, making it a one-hit kill.
The game also has a story mode with comic book art drawn by Jim Lawson, one of the artists of the Mirage comics at the time. The voiceovers for the story, as well as for the game in general, were done by the same people that did the voices for the 2003 cartoon.
Something from the trophy room? Whoa! Alright, count me in! This totally beats regular training! That trophy is mine! I would be honored to compete for such a prize, Master Splinter.
The story's pretty simple. It's basically Master Splinter making a tournament just for fun for Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael, as well as Casey Jones and April. But then all of a sudden, Toy gets captured by the Shredder and they gotta go rescue him.
TMNT Smash Up had a lot of problems. First, the game acted like it was going to be a mix of Ninja Turtles from both the old and new. The game's logo looks like from the 80s cartoon, and one of the stages even had the classic Technodrome in it. But as more characters were announced, it only had characters from the 2007 movie and the 2003 cartoon. To make it worse, they added the Raving Rabbits as guest characters in the Wii version. And not just one of them, oh no, they actually added all 3 of them. That's at least 2 character spots that could have gone for actual TMNT characters in a small roster. Since the rabbits were not in the PS2 version, that's 3 less characters. Then they left out the Vegetoid, who is a TMNT character. So that's 4 characters the PS2 version is missing. Oh, and the Technodrome stage was left out too. Man, the PS2 version missed out on a lot, didn't they?
I'm gonna have to agree there. The game's a lot of fun at first, don't get me wrong, and it's full of all the wild, crazy, I don't know what the hell's going on kind of action you would expect, especially if you don't have a modern Nintendo console and you want some Smash Brothers fun with Ninja Turtle characters, but it does get pretty old pretty fast with such a small basic roster. With the 25th anniversary and all that, fans were expecting Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang and maybe Slash or Leatherhead or anyone else who wasn't already in the 2003 cartoon show. The game does feature some cool design artwork of the characters from the 80s cartoon show as part of the, at the time, upcoming movie Turtles Forever, in which the 2003 Turtles actually met the 80s Turtles, but you want to see these guys in the actual game, not just drawings. I do like all the cool weapons in the tag team play. I also like Shredder's second costume, the Cyber Shredder, since back then, TMNT Back to the Sewers was still airing. With 4 green turtles and almost everybody else wearing all black or gray or other dark colors, it is kind of hard to tell who is who with all the crazy action, especially when the camera zooms way out at times, but at least with some of the extra costumes with more colors and stuff, it does help the characters stand out a bit more. Now, I do love all the cool new features and extra galleries based on the movies and other stuff like that, but the game itself could have been just so much better. Oh man, that was fun. So, we're going to follow up with the X-Men arcade game, the original 6-player arcade game by Konami. And I gotta say that back then, the only way we were able to get the footage was by going to insert coin and filming it. But you know how it is. It's a busy place, everyone's dancing, no one's really playing the arcade, to be honest. And mostly it was just like one-player footage between my brother and I taking turns filming here and there. But years down the line, I was able to get the Xbox 360 version from Xbox Live before it got delisted. So once again, thanks to the way we capture footage for the older consoles, I was able to get better footage. And once again, Johnny and I took one look back one more time to see what we thought of X-Men the arcade game. So let's check it out.
Yes, X-Men, welcome to die.
The X-Men arcade game came out in 1992, and it was one of the few beat-em-ups that allowed for 6 players to kick some ass at the same time. The arcade was supposed to help promote the upcoming cartoon show Pride of the X-Men, but it never made it past the pilot. The story revolves around Magneto attacking the world with an army of Sentinels, so you have to stop him and his brotherhood of evil mutants. The game lets you select from Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Dazzler. Everyone has different attacks and jump attacks and stuff like that, but what makes this game stand apart from the others are the mutant powers. Cyclops releases his optic blast. Storm lets out a tornado. Nightcrawler warps all over the screen. Dazzler tosses out a light energy bomb. And Colossus glows brightly or something. And Wolverine swings his claws so fast that laser beams come out of them because, yeah, I don't know either. But you need some sort of long-range attack, okay? You fight your way through 7 stages full of Sentinels and armed soldiers. You start off in the city, where the first boss you face is Pyro, who can control fire. Stage 2 is the factory, and the boss you face here is the Blob. Nothing moves the Blob. Stage 3 is the Savage Land, which is full of weird creatures and monsters. The boss here is the Wendigo. By stage 4, Kitty has been captured, and you gotta fight through the caves to rescue her. The boss is Nimrod, a more powerful Sentinel from the future with a stupid name. Once you save Kitty, you find out that now Professor Xavier's also been captured. Stage 5 is outside a cave, where you now start fighting against the Reavers. You face the White Queen as the mid-boss, back in the day when she was still a bad guy, but the real boss here is the Juggernaut, armed with a bazooka, because yes, let's make someone like the Juggernaut even more dangerous by giving him a fucking bazooka. He's a Juggernaut, bitch. Stage 6 is an underground base full of traps and these weird pyro clones. The boss here is the Living Monolith, or 3 of them. Stage 7 is the Gauntlet on Asteroid M, where you face all the previous bosses, the Blob, Wendigo, the Juggernaut, the White Queen, and Nimrod, back to back. Magneto appears, but after you defeat him, you find out there was just Mystique in disguise.
I am Magneto, Master of Magnet.
Then you face the final boss, Magneto, Master of Magnets.
I think you mean Master of Magnet.
I said Master of Magnets. X-Men, welcome to die.
One thing worth pointing out is that Storm's tornado has no effect on Magneto's magnetic force field. Holy shit. The Konami X-Men arcade is a lot of fun, and I'll always have cherished memories from back in the day in my childhood, back when arcades were still packed with people, back when you and all your school friends would save up your quarters throughout the week and be like, okay, today is the day, we're all going to get together, we're going to play this game to the end, no matter how many quarters it takes, defeat Magneto and see the ending. That is fucking awesome. I remember the Gauntlet stage. It's always my favorite stage in these beat-em-up games where the final stage or so has all the bosses come back one after the other. I love how the bosses would kind of crowd the screen. If you walk too soon, more and more bosses appear. That was pretty cool.
That was an awesome game, and one of my favorite arcades. The bad thing is, unless you bought this on Xbox Live back in the day, that game is no longer available to buy today.
Yeah, and there was never like a Super Nintendo version or Genesis version of the arcade or anything. I don't know how that would have turned out. Probably like a whole lot of slowdown or something. But yeah, mostly because Konami owned the rights to the arcade game. But when it came down to the home consoles, back then, like LJN and Acclaim and them were the ones that made all the Marvel games. So yeah, it just wouldn't work out. But yeah, you had to wait a couple of years until it came to Xbox Live and the PlayStation Network. Of course, it's not available anymore, like Johnny said. If you're lucky enough to buy it like I did, like before it was taken down, you'll always own it. It'll be in your purchase history, but it does kind of suck that it's like gone for good now. Alright guys, that wraps up for this episode of Video Game Masters. We're going to check out some more Lost reviews and Lost episodes in the next episode. We'll see what games are going to come up there. I won't spoil them for you, but they're pretty cool. They're worth checking out. And once again, this is Mark Rodriguez here. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.